Yeah, now stand and cheer for your Talking Basketball podcast.
Hello, welcome to another edition of Talking Basketball podcast. I am Mark.
Paul, hello.
Back in the saddle. It's been a few weeks. He's concentrating once again.
Let's put this up.
Well, it's fair to say,
Nice.
basketball world has gone a bit crazy.
Can I just say one thing before you go, Mark? Before you go,
on.
this is just for our listeners now.
Yeah.
I walked in the studio. Mark has got his Dallas Mavericks jumper on. He has been clearly biting his tongue with me. He started talking the other day, and I was like, Mark, don't talk to me, mate. Do it on the podcast. He's been biting his tongue. Mark, here's your time to unleash. Go.
Yes.
I've got a drink. I'm just going to sit back and listen.
It's not been good if you're a Mavs fan. It's not been good at all. So, like, obviously the NBA is going on. We're coming into the NBA All-Star game, which is actually coming up in like a week and a bit's time. And that was apparently going to be like, the big news. They're all getting excited about what's going on with that. They're doing a different format this year. There's going to be 3 teams. And they're even making a bit of plays like, these people are, someone's been snubbed and someone hasn't got in there, even though they've got really good stats. And like people like LaMelo, they've got
No one cares.
Right, all of that just changed because they just started the trade window just suddenly got really interesting. You go, people started moving, and then out of nowhere, they went, we've just traded Luka Doncic to the
For AD.
Lakers for AD.
Can I just go back what you said about the NBA All-Star stuff?
Yes.
Other than the 3-point shootout, the slam dunk competition, no one cares.
No one gives
and
monkeys.
no one's going to care until the players care about it.
Yep.
They need to be up for it. Go back to the 90s, go back to the early noughties when people wanted it and weren't just having a laugh.
Yeah, 100%.
And until that happens, everyone's going to look at it like, it's a nothing game.
Yeah, 100%, 100% couldn't agree more. It's I want to say it doesn't make sense, but they tried this new format. So let's see how it goes this year. You've got to give it a chance.
Try. So I read the Luka trade and I was like, nah, that's fake news.
Okay, so every single person who was on that said, I thought it was fake. Like Doc Rivers said, I thought it was AI generated. And there's loads of people who are just like, no. Like no one's trading Luka. Like, why would you do that? And then they're trading him for AD. And as well as Luka, you've got Maxi Kleber and Markieff Morris. Markieff, ironically, I made a blunder on online because I said, now AD's gone. It's only LeBron left in the for the Lakers who won the actual chip in 2020.
No, I think it is, isn't it?
No, because Markieff Morris, who is on the Mavs, has gone back to the Lakers. So I was corrected from that. But actually, like, for real, you look at that team and you go, him and AD were the main ones on that team. They're all gone now.
So out of curiosity, as a Mavericks fan, how do you feel?
Hate it. It's not good. It's not good to be a everyone who knows, I was a Seattle fan, and obviously when that got sold, I was sort of teamless for a while. Then got on with the Mavs and were like, you know what, I'm going to get behind them. And I always liked Dirk, and then just went, sod it, I'm going to follow the Mavs for like 2018, 19.
What was the chairman as well? Sorry, the owner?
It was Mark Cuban.
You liked him.
I like Mark Cuban. I like the style. The team was started in 1980, year I was born, and I was like, everything just...
But you really like Luka.
I love Dirk and I love Cuban, and then I like the way the fans got behind it, and it was all about Mavs family, and it's Texas. You've got to put this in perspective of those of us who are in the UK or in Europe or abroad who are not in Texas. If you have never been there or you don't know anyone from there, they're very proud of it, very proud of their sports. They're very, very committed to their teams, and it is very much like, we want to see you succeed. And and Cuban even made a joke like, if it's a choice between getting rid of Luka or divorcing my wife, you'll see me down the law courts.
Yeah.
Like he's made jokes about it in the past. And you just think, so got behind that team. And then what's transpired is he just got moved out. And then when you start, because of the way
The Dallas screw job.
Well, do you know what's funny is that you see these people outside, like picketing, and like they're actually like.
I saw someone bring a coffin.
It's not. It's
outside.
Great. It's insane. And what's funny is that all the media. I saw a tweet this morning that said, "We just watched the Super Bowl. I've never seen NFL coverage where they're talking more about the NBA than they are than the NFL. It's all anyone is talking about. This whole trade window has gone absolutely insane. You know, since we've had Luka go." And
can I just ask you, if you were a Dallas Mavericks season ticket holder,
yeah,
what would you be doing if that was you?
Right. I have a sneaky answer to this. This second right now, I would probably have gone in there and gone, I want to cancel it, because they immediately are buffing people up. Some people have dropped 7 rows forward.
Oh.
Just by, and they said you can keep your thing. You go 7 rows down. You know what that's like. Just go.
Next season they'll go. Yeah, that's.
But you know
double the price.
You know what that's like. Yeah, but if you're a season ticket to get that view there, you'd be like, damn, that is a good view. We still have a long way to go. If they make playoffs, you're then sat there. So that is a tempting thing. So in the knee jerk, you go, I've paid for this season. The season's paid. I'm just going to go down and have that done. Now. The problem is that the whole MFFL, Mavs Family for Life, that's the thing, that tag they always put on. And they like seeing the story arc. You got to think, Luka came to them from Atlanta where there was a swap trade.
Mavs Family for Life.
That's how they do it. Mavs Family for Life. That was the whole thing. Ironic, given the fact that Cuban, after they won the championship, blew the team up. But it's a little more to it than that. There was just a lot of contracts at the wrong time and something went wrong there. But when he brought in the GM for the Mavs, the idea was to get someone building that team. Now, Nico is taking a lot of flack online.
What for?
Well, he's the guy who made the trade for Luka. It's his idea. He brought it up. He's pushed it.
Okay.
So he's the GM. Now, this is where something that, Paul and I have talked about. This is
Nico Harrison.
Nico Harrison. Now, this is something that we have talked about before, online and offline, and it is an interesting subject. It's about false news. Now, there's lots and lots of stories that are going around about Nico Harrison. He did this, he said that, this is a whole goal, this is the reason for doing these things. And it's almost become, because it's such a massive deal associated with Luka, it's a really interesting problem, because suddenly you have every media outlet, every social platform just firing information and people getting really riled up against him. And it's basically no one really knows. But what you can look at is what are the patterns, and these are the things that are likely have occurred. And that's how you can. And
doesn't feel like a trade that many people are involved in. This feels like the owners are having a beer one night, or actually, I don't know, a martini and a beer.
These are the things
and they've had a little chat.
Here are things that we do know that happened. When you have to go forward to once Luka was traded, Luka is in the Lakers and sat with Rob Pelinka, the GM for the Lakers, okay? He's famous because he also was Kobe's agent, right?
Luka loves Kobe as well.
Right, yeah, but he was Kobe's agent, right? And that's how he was in the Lakers. That's where it came from. Got into coaching, right? Nico used to work for Nike for 17 years. He was the one who brought Kobe from Adidas to Nike with the help of his good friend, an old friend, Rob Pelinka.
Oh.
Okay. He also had 3 other people who were players that he brought on. Kyrie Irving, Klay Thompson, Anthony Davis.
There's one.
And all of a sudden,
one he missed as well.
Yeah, there's another one.
No, he missed one.
Oh,
apparently, Nico Harrison was
doing
the interview to get Steph Curry to re-sign, and he was calling him. What did he call him?
So he called him Seth.
Steve.
No, he called him Seth, who is Steph Curry's brother.
Yeah.
So he called him Seth to start with.
But he also...
Then he called him Stefan. And then he used Kevin Durant's
that's it.
presentation.
Yeah.
Now, the funny thing is, everyone was like, that was when he was trying to get him to Nike. He was already a Nike athlete.
It's to re-sign.
It was to re-sign him.
Yeah. That cost him hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yeah, because he wanted 4 million. And he was like, no, I'll give you 2.5 million. He was like, no, I wanted 4. And then Under Armour just were like, here we go, come to us. We'll give you bucket loads.
That worked out well for them, didn't it?
It worked out well for Steph and Under Armour, you know. But what's funny is, so he dropped that ball. Then when he came and he started 2021, 2022, he started when Jalen Brunson was having an epic run. He was coming to the end of his deal as a rookie. It's a case of, right, you got to sign him. He wanted 4 years for 55 million. And Nico went, nah, you're not worth that. He was making an amazing playoff runs and everything. He wanted to stay. And he's like, nah, I'm still not going to offer him. And they're like, oh. New York then said, we'll hire you for 104 million for 4 years.
Wow.
And they hired his dad. Like, so everyone went, oh, he went there because of his dad. No, New York knew he was going to come there, so hired his dad. And then as soon as the trade window opened, they went, here you go, here's a contract. And gave him double what he was asking for at the Mavs. And that was Nico, and he went, not interested. Then he spent the next few years, every time there was Luka, people who got on with Luka, and he built a team around him, he was letting them go. He was isolating him in that sort of capacity, to the point that he even had the Slovenian athletic performance coaches working with him from the Slovenian basketball team. And then last year, Nico went, no, you're not having them, and got rid of them. And he got in shape. So then when he came in, he was like, I'm out of shape. Like, well, yeah, I did have guys that got me in shape, and you just got rid of them because you don't like them. Incidentally, the first thing Luka did when he went to the Lakers, hired them all back again.
Oh.
Yeah. And everyone's like, yeah, he's going to go. He's going to absolutely go off. So then fast forward to that interview, and Pelinka says, for the last 3 weeks, we've been working out a contract for this, and Lucas sat next to him, and he's like, what? You guys have been talking for 3 weeks about trading me? Luka had only just signed a £15 million agreement to buy a house in Dallas the week before.
He's the one person I feel... Well, I don't feel sorry for... Look, he'll bounce back financially. He's going to sell his house and all that, but I feel sorry for him in the sense that, when you have that thing of like, look, I got my boys, we got your back, this is where I'm going to retire, and then you get screwed.
And that is it. The whole thing
I feel, and you can see he looks like, what the hell's going on, man?
It's the story arc, and the story arc is what the Dallas family. There's some really good posts that people have put in. A shout out to one of the guys from I think it's like the Mavs Moneyball, and he actually wrote an open letter to Nico, just saying like, this is how the fans work. I don't know if you know this. Like, this is how fans work. Like, we've seen the story arc. He was 18 when he came. He's only 25. Like, we want to win a championship with him. We want him. Like, Dirk was here 21 years, won 1 championship, and Dirk is their hero. Like, we want another trophy. We want another statue, just like Dirk's, right there, and Luka will be next to him. And that makes complete sense to us.
Can I just say, if you're sat at work thinking that you're not replaceable, just remember, Luka Doncic just got traded from Dallas to the Lakers.
This is where it gets better. Not only did Pelinka say, we've been speaking for the last 3 months, and he said, I even flew to Dallas and had a coffee there just while we were talking about it. And you're like, right. Then you heard previous information from Nico saying it was his idea. He took the idea forward saying, I want to trade Luka and get this moving, and this is why I want to do it. The ownership team, the people who own it, they know some basketball, but they're not coaches, they're not in that sort of field. So they're like,
Mark, I think that some of them would disagree with you. Oh, you're going to say that to the Bus family?
No. That's Lakers you're talking about. I'm talking about Dallas.
Oh.
Dallas is owned by Allisons. So the main guy who's involved in that is the son-in-law, basically, who runs that part of the team. So long story short, it's Nico's idea. Where's the idea come from? Well, him and Rob Pelinka are best or very, very good friends, let's put it that way. Know each other a long time. They have all very good connections. They're all in photos together, all in, historically. So there's a good connection there. Have they made a good trade? I don't know.
So you think Luka's in on everything?
No, Luka's not in on anything at all.
I know, yeah, because it doesn't look like
No one. It's no player is in on any of this. This is literally between. It'd be like if you run the Lakers and I run the Mavs.
We're having a little chat.
And we're having a chat. And he was like, and he literally, because he said even, Nico phoned me up and said, hey, how about if I trade Luka to you? And he was laughing like, nah, who's going to trade Luka? And he's like, well, what if we could? How would that work? And what's funny is apparently the reports were that Lakers obviously had offered more, and he's like, I want less. This is what I need. I just need this. So that's where all the problems come up for the deal doesn't make sense. Why was it only a closed deal between two people that know each other very well? It looks very suspicious. The players don't even know. And especially that no NBA team in history has ever swapped a star player for a star player.
Mid-season.
Ever. No, just a star player for a star player. They've never done it. You've never had. It'd be literally like someone saying, we're going to swap Kobe for who would be probably the biggest star at the time against Kobe. Allen Iverson. It's literally like Kobe for Allen Iverson. We're going to do that swap. That's just never happened before. Because when you're talking about superstars, realistically, there's only a handful at any one time.
Yeah, no, I know what you're saying.
And Luka's he's a generational player, and he's the superstar. He's like the most followed international star, as well as, domestically in the US. It's weird. It's really weird. And then when you say you've sold a 25-year-old perennial all-star for a 31 / going to be 32 pretty soon, year old Anthony Davis, who, when he plays and he's fit, he's a great defender, and he puts some numbers in, no question. But he's not Luka. He's just not Luka.
Do you know what it reminds me of a little bit? And I don't know if this is silly saying. It reminds me of the 2008 to maybe 2010 Boston Celtics, where you've got like Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett, Ray Allen, Rondo, and they're making their last run at a championship title with the old boys, and it's like, look, this is going to be one of our last chances.
Yes.
That's kind of how it feels a little bit with that Mavs team. Do you think maybe?
No.
There's a lot of old players there.
Yeah, but...
Or they're towards the end of their career.
Yeah, there are, but do you know what the funny thing is? Well, they've have a couple of young'uns. Got Max Christie from the Lakers. He's a good up-and-coming young guy. They got Daniel Gafford. They've still got, obviously, Derek Lively. But this is where it gets funny, because we've seen... I could go on about the Luka trade, but the reality is that there's... The thing that isn't talked about, that should be more talked about, is it flipped the script on players.
Yeah, and that's a good
and that's a
good thing, because
very good
they're
thing.
like they're highly paid, taking over a lot. For this to happen, it's a bit of a little bit of a memo to all NBA players.
It is.
Just remember who's in charge.
It is, and none. There's been so many trades this trade window. I borderline would probably say it's the biggest trade window, possibly historically. It's got to be up there.
Just on that
just
note,
because of those ones.
I know you agree with me on this. Just for anyone listening, check out Bleach Report.
I always go on Bleach Report.
It's great. If you want to see the news on the trade lines, and they give their ratings of who won it as far as the team and stuff like that.
And they don't dumb it down, but they just put it in a way that you understand.
I really like that. And I will say, no matter who says what, there's one answer to a successful trade.
Which is?
Time. Like, for example, Dallas were in the NBA Finals last year. If they don't reach the NBA Finals, well, we know Nico made a bad decision.
Yeah. So, talking with your brother about this, and he was saying he thinks getting rid of Luka's a good thing, because the one thing, I say we haven't mentioned it, was that this summer Luka had the opportunity to sign a Supermax contract. Yeah. because he was drafted
Is
by.
it this summer or next summer? I don't think it's this one. I think it was a year and a half away. I could be wrong. I didn't think it was.
I thought it was the end of the season. Is when it goes into the next season.
I know
when
it's
you can sign it.
350 million, isn't it?
Yes. So, which is, we're talking stupid amounts of money here with all of these players. Jason Tatum, 315 million or something. These are stupid numbers. We're just going to forget the stupid how stupid it is, because no one should be paid that much. The point is, that's what they're getting paid at the moment. He can't be offered a Supermax contract anywhere else because they are the only team that
was it 110, 118? He can only less than what he would have done.
Yes, so they can. So he could have got a 5-year Supermax contract, whereas another team I think can only offer him a 4-year, and the number isn't quite as high. Because
Lakers have got to impress him, is what I'd say.
Wow, this is the other thing.
In a year's time, he's going to be. So I do what I want.
He's here for the rest of this year, and then he's got 1 year season with them. They've got to somehow try and keep LeBron going long enough to try and get Luka on board. Now, Luka does love LeBron, so there's an advantage to that. But also, and they're both well known for flopping and doing crap defense. So, to be fair, if you're going to have a mentor, to get you in shape. So this is where the problem.
I feel people are being a bit harsh with Luka on his shape.
Which is what's funny. This he is 270 pounds.
270.
270 is what they said.
What's that?
Bear in mind, he's 6'7", right? So he's not a short guy.
So what's that for our European listeners? What's that in kilograms? So in stone, that's about 19 stone and change.
Don't know.
That's about 19 stone. That's heavy. But he is 6'10".
No, Luka's 6'7", 6'8".
He's still a tall guy.
Oh no, he's a big guy, right?
He's not going to be obese in his BMI, is he?
Wow, he was.
He'll be 27 or something.
Basically, if you see pictures of him when he started,
he doesn't look that.
It's we saw videos of ourselves from 20, 25 years ago or whatever, and you look at us and go, oh man, we were a bit skinnier then. When you are 18, you are slimmer. It's just the way it is, right? That's just the way it is. Then when you say 25, you just put a bit of timber on. It's just a bit of fat. But what they're basically saying is when he turned up for training camp after having a month and a bit off, and Luka would have been bigger and up and doing nothing. Plus, he's just got a new kid, so his kid's not even a year old yet.
I like the fact when he had that beer when they won the conference finals.
The vice president just came and took it away from him.
You could see his face was like, really?
I've just won the finals, the conference finals. I'm having a small beer with my dad.
Look, I'm glad you said that. It's a small beer. It's like what we would call the small Coke can.
Yeah, yes.
So it's
tiny ones.
It's not that. It's what, half a pint?
Yeah, and he's probably had a few sips. He's not downing it. He's not chugging it and slapping it on his head, is he? It's I've had a couple of sips, celebrate, and my dad's here, and they're like, yeah, just take that off you. And he was like, what? So that behaviour had been going on for about a couple of years, because as soon as Cuban had left and it had been sold off, and sort of before that time, apparently all of those sort of things were happening. They were trying to isolate the way in which he operated. That's a thing that's out there, and they've had staff say, yeah, this is true. Players, yeah, that is true.
He was just having a beer after every game.
No. They were trying to isolate the way Nico Harrison was operating with the staff, saying, make sure, these are staff members who are close to him, get rid of him. These are guys he goes out and party with, get rid of him. So I think they were trying to maybe isolate him so that then he focused on his health. Maybe that was the way they were trying to do it. The problem was, it was no, what you did was you just isolated him. But Luka's quite a chilled guy, so he's just carrying on I don't care. But where
he's
he
going
turned
home
up
to his wife, his wolf, and his little one.
Well, this is it. If
you've seen his wolf,
yeah. If you see the pictures of him in a Lakers top and stuff, and he's training, it's that's where you start the misinformation. You go, he's not 270 pounds now. He turned up at training for that, and you go, yeah, loads of players have done that.
Yeah, he doesn't look.
No, he's more like 250.
He's a big guy, but look, let's face it.
He's not.
He's
lean.
a European who the Americans are saying is overweight, and he's dominating games. Come on,
look at Joker. Look at Sabonis. Sabonis's dad. But you look at Sabonis, got looked over for All-Star, which is crazy. for Sacramento. Like, he's a lean guy. You look at his dad. His dad was chunky, let's put it that way. But he was like, no one was going, you're too fat, mate. No one was complaining about that. On the other end of the court, all you see is, on the other end of the spectrum, all you see is all these quotes saying, Zion must be packing his bags now. Because if Luka's got shift off, and the only reason the Mavs gave was they thought his conditioning wasn't good, and then you look at all these these players around the league, all of a sudden Zion's working out.
Let's put it like this:
Joel Embiid.
They got rid of him because of his contract. They didn't want to pay $350 million. That's what all it came down to.
Wow.
Can I just say, you have got LeBron James, and the one word we always say about LeBron is longevity, and that he really looks after his body. So you're right.
Yeah.
Maybe that effect might go, Luka, you could be a huge star in the league for another 20 years so if you look after your body like me.
So why would Nico bear in mind that a month before he'd made a quote,
they're going to be standing in the ice shower together.
A month before, he was like, we did this well with Luka. There's no bounds how far we can go, and blah blah blah. And like, he was singing the praises of stuff. Outwardly, he was doing that. In the background, he was doing all these things like getting rid of staff who work with him and things.
There's no loyalty.
Wow.
No loyalty.
Would you like a tinfoil hat time?
When it comes down to money, there is no loyalty.
Do you want some tinfoil hat stuff now?
Yeah.
Right. So the people who bought the Dallas Mavs off of Mark Cuban were known, the family who owned up the Sands Resort in Las Vegas casinos. They also owned the Venetian, and there was another one along the same time. When the Sands closed, they opened the Venetian. They owned that. They've sold it now. I think it was 2 years ago they sold it.
Venetian is rubbish in making bets.
They got loads of money.
I was zero in there.
Zero for what, though?
Oh, I don't know.
So they owned all
that.
I'm
not going to say
So
it.
if you know in Vegas,
I was still up.
They're big casinos. They owned that.
Yeah.
They sold all that into 2022. And then they've got some other stuff in Macau, but basically used some money, and they bankrolled the ones in Dallas for getting the Mavericks. Now, a lot of people were saying that they're trying to get a casino in Dallas. But Texas law prohibits gambling.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's a really big thing. So there's no way you're going to turn around like an actual law. It's like the white elephant, basically. It's the one you're just not going to get. Because it's, you know how...
so why is that?
I don't know. It's just in history. A lot of the ones in America.
No gambling.
Yeah, there's a lot of them, and that's why Vegas is one of the ones that has gambling. Like, you can't. There's not many places in America that have casinos, and if they do,
is that why you always have like sharks in the films and stuff? The loan sharks.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
That makes more sense now.
Well, like Salt Lake City, there's another one on the East Coast, and people can go there. They've got a gambling license that they're at. It's those sort of things that you're allowed to have. It's just a thing. But anyway, so gambling is prohibited. You still have to pay different types of tax when you take alcohol between two different states in America. Like, prohibition is still on a law somewhere. It's a thing. So a lot of people, tinfoil hat wise, are saying they bought the team because what they want to do is make loads of money in hotels and gambling. And having the team in Dallas and saying, oh, look, if we get rid of our stars and grenade the team, it's like, look, the fans don't care, so let's move the team to... Let's either bring the...
Shut up!
Or move the team to Vegas. Who's going to be getting... They said they might have two more teams in the NBA. Where were the two locations for the two teams?
One was Vegas, one was Seattle, was it?
Correct.
Wow.
So if they already have a team and they can just go, we'll just move them and they'll be the Vegas. Just like the LA Raiders. What happened to the LA Raiders? They were Oakland Raiders, the LA Raiders again. And then eventually the Oakland Raiders went straight to the Las Vegas Raiders.
It's out there, but...
That's a tinfoil hat thing.
It's not unimaginable, is it?
It's not unimaginable because what happened with Seattle?
Mark, if this happens, we're going to go back to this episode.
I'm the black sheep.
And put this out there and go, Mark predicted he knew what was happening.
No, I'm the black sheep. So, look, here's the thing. They said they threatened it with Seattle, if you're not going to sell we will sell the team if you don't support us and expand the arena. The city of Seattle said no. So then he called the bluff and said, right, we'll sell it to the people in Oklahoma. They're like, oh, they're going to move the team. No, they won't. Second they sold it, they're like, yeah, we're moving the team.
Wow.
So, and that was all governed by the lunatic who owns Starbucks, hence why I don't drink Starbucks. But
that was your conspiracy theory.
Yeah, but those things have happened. Those things have happened with the NBA before.
You're going to do that. That's a long process. You know, you're going to try and tank.
No.
You're getting older players.
With a couple of years on the contract.
Like 5 years maybe, yeah?
2. Because
so your prediction is Dallas will move to Las Vegas.
No. So
in how many years?
Here's the...
Let's put a bet on it.
2.
In Dallas.
2. They want to do the expansion in 2 years.
Wow.
Seattle have already got the ice hockey, the NHL playing.
There's no way this will happen, Mark. Mark Cuban will step back in.
So, wow, you say that. Here's the thing.
He'll step back in, won't he?
Wow. Everyone would love it if he did. But
he'd be like, no way.
Well, 2 things. One, I don't know if he could afford it because the price will have gone up. But secondly, here's the thing. Every time a new franchise comes into the NBA, it's a bit like Formula One and some other sports, all of the other teams have to be paid an amount of money.
Yeah.
So if the Adelsons have got history in Vegas, yeah, and they want to run an NBA basketball team in Vegas, well, surely they would use the Mavs to demonstrate, hey, we can look after a team. And then when the spot opens, they go, here's a load of money, we'll buy that, and then we have to just pay ourselves effectively, and we'll sell our team to someone who wants to keep the Mavs where they are. They're not going to move the Mavs because Dallas still has a big reach. So it would be crazy. And also, that wouldn't be expanding the league. So in order to get an expansion team, all of the other owners have to agree it. What owner, bear in mind they're all money orientated, is going to say, oh no, we'll let you move the team for free, as opposed to someone starting a new team and we all get paid like 50 million or something. Like it's serious cash. It's a crazy amount of money.
The way you're talking, we're just mortals, Mark, and these are gods playing away, and we're just mortals.
Final tin hat moment.
I like that one though.
Final one. This is the dark one. This is the dark one. This was constructed by the NBA.
Yeah, you know what? Can I just say, I think the biggest winner in this trade is the NBA, because you just said earlier, everyone's talking about it. The entire world was going, what? Everyone is talking about it. But also, what is the biggest franchise rivalry in the NBA?
Yeah.
Lakers and Celtics. Celtics are holding up their end of the bargain at the moment. Lakers, 8th, 9th, 10th, around there. So if they can become that team again, I mean, we all know the ratings are going down.
Yeah. So, do you know who said this and put it really eloquently? I was quite surprised.
Better than what I just said.
On a par.
I appreciate that.
Dwayne Wade.
Oh, right.
He was asked in an interview about it, and he said, I looked back at the bigger picture, and we're talking now about chess between billionaires. So when you're suddenly talking about who owns this team, it's all about the value of the team. You think Mark Cuban bought the Mavs for $250 million. It's a crazy amount of money. Let's not get twisted. But when he sold it, it was $3.5 billion. Like, that's crazy money. That's money we can't.
What do you think it's like when you lie in bed at night and just go, I'm a billionaire?
I
mean, insane. Would you keep $1 million in your house? Just go, I got $1 million in a house somewhere.
Even if I did, I wouldn't put it on the bog.
I'd have gold bars somewhere. I'd have a gold bar on display.
Right. This is a perfect time to ask you this question.
Shoot.
Right. We all know that the NBA came together and adjusted some of the rule book based on when Mark Cuban bought the team because...
is this when he was going to sub himself in?
Yeah.
They were
afraid if we let him buy it, he is that excitable.
No, I think he bought it. I think once he bought it, they changed it because they were like, he was sitting with the players. And and they were like, he's going to jump in.
Yeah. So I've asked a few people, if you were the team owner now and you had that opportunity, you're like, I could sub myself in. Would you do it?
I speak on behalf of every single basketball player, fan in the world when I say yes.
You would sub yourself in?
100%. Look, maybe not at 45 and fat.
No, I'm talking right now. Because Cuban was like this.
Yeah, I'd sub myself in.
You would sub yourself in?
Look, I would do it.
Right, so someone's like, you'd be like...
No, look, I would have the kit on underneath.
You'd have to be playing like Washington or someone terrible.
And no, they would have to be up by 40.
What if it's 20? Let's make it really... There's not many...
With 2 minutes left, because
No,
look, as soon as I get the ball, I'm going to lose it.
Which quarter? Which quarter are you going?
Oh, your last end of the quarter. It's like right at the end of the game.
What about third quarter?
Look,
I think that's safe.
it's the same if it was
got a
football.
quarter.
You'd sub yourself in last 5 minutes. Or penalty,
Yeah, but
sub. Let's
Yeah,
go.
but
I'm taking the penalty.
You know there's a lot happens in those last few minutes in basketball.
Yeah, look, and those guys are so masters of their craft. Someone like...
What about starting the half? Starting the second half?
You know what I might do for a laugh? Start the game. And now you're starting five.
Because you want to come out.
Because you come out, you do all that, run up and down for a minute. If the score's even, just keep it like it is. Done. I'd go once, but also the fans might be booing you as well. If we're like, hang on, this isn't right.
If you're the owner.
Yeah, 100%. Not even in doubt. I would start myself. And I'd say, keep me on until we go down by 4 or 5. If that's 30 seconds, look, I'm going to go. Because you'd walk off and say, look, that's my dream. I'm never going to do it again this season.
If someone said, right, look.
You'd have to be a young owner.
If someone said, look, you're out of playoff contention. Like, you're not. This isn't going to affect anything.
I said, guys, do you want to bring the big man back?
We're 13th or 5th, like Detroit last season. They're shocking. You go, just get one of like who's that? Are they the janitor over there? Get them on.
No, do you know what would be amazing? You come on, get the ball, and you think, oh, I'm open. You got to shoot, you get fouled. You go to the line. And you hit your 2 free throws. Sub. I'm going to retire with 100% field goal attempt percentage and free throw attempt percentage.
Oh, if you... hang on. We're going into this and this is good. You go on.
Yeah.
Comedy. For some...
Why would it be comedy?
Because you're going on.
No.
Someone is like... They're not even marking you because they're like...
If it was the
seriously,
balls, I'd be going on with 23.
The ball.
You go, screw you, Jordan. This is my cup. I'm wearing 23.
The ball comes to you.
Yeah.
And you're there.
Triple threat.
You're a triple threat.
No.
To the NBA, the other NBA players on the court.
Triple threat. Shoot, pass, dribble. Triple threat. Shot some brick.
Would you take the shot? That's what I'm going to say.
Yes, of course you would. Everyone
would.
What,
a 3?
Whatever. If you were, I'm going to say it like this,
with like
vaguely young. If you were vaguely young,
we're not young right now.
Under 4. Look, if it happened this year, yeah.
You take the shot.
If it happened this year, yeah, I'd start myself. Even if it was 30 seconds, I'd go, cheers, guys. That's never going to happen again. But look, that's why they made rules. It's
it might
pure
be
fantasy.
It might be something like you can't be an owner or anyone in management or something crazy.
You don't have it in football. So there is one team, I want to say it's in Thailand or China, and God, you watch it. Just type this in, you'll find it online. So the owner has a son who's quite overweight. But he's just like, screw it. My son wants to play him. And so he always subs his son in. And it got to the point where they're like, you guys, you got to pass to him. but he's got a real massive gut. Real massive gut. He can't really run fast, but he gets the ball, tries to make some crosses. But yeah, check that out online. Mark, this is all about Luka. We've gone way off here.
Yeah, I was just curious about the trading. Look, so
what was your dark one?
the
NBA.
The dark one is the NBA do it. So exactly what you're saying.
Well, the NBA have to sign it off.
So there we go. Here's the thing. The way, go check it out. Go. I won't put it up there. Copyright, all that. But Dwayne Wade does it in an interview. It's really, really good. And he basically explains how the billionaires and that sort of stuff, the way that they come out. What are you doing? Yeah, still ugly. The way that the billionaires have the conversation and the way they're looking at their teams is everything's an asset. And because it's an asset, they're going, what's the best asset in the NBA? The Lakers. Who sells one of the most jerseys? Luka. Put them together.
He's already got the most sold jersey in the Lakers at the moment.
Yeah, I know.
I think it's got to be what? Lakers, Boston, New York, Golden State.
Yeah, it always was.
Chicago, maybe,
Well, do you know
with Jordan.
Do you know what number 5 is? Dallas. Dallas was
Orlando Magic.
Dallas was the they're probably down like 20th or
like
something.
5th or 4th.
No.
Second.
No. But they are like, Dallas is up there. Dallas has always been in top 5 for franchise, not only value, but the money that they get from the marketing, from all the jersey sales. And I think it was it 800 games or something that they had a tally of where it was sold out. It's been, every game has been sold out since like 2009 or something stupid like that. It's ridiculous. Like that, their crowd is so loyal. That's what I mean. That's how you can tell when people are that hurt by this trade. Now, what's interesting is if you suddenly look at it and say, what if the NBA were like, we need to get Luka to the Lakers because he's the most available of all, because he's coming up for signing a big contract, because of all these things that are in play, and he's 25 and he is a generational talent. He's the one that we'd want there. How could we make this happen? Well, it just so happens that the person who is his current GM is also good friends with the GM of the place we want him to go to. What if they have a conversation? And what if you make it interesting for them, saying, this will be good value for you.
The referees are going to call you lots of fouls. Yeah. Guaranteed the finals.
Why is it you got a really
low...
Why
Lakers Mavs in the conference finals.
Lakers and Mavs are playing in 2 weeks.
Yeah,
so
but
that's going to be
imagine they get into the finals together.
Oh, yeah. That would be amazing. So, I don't think that will happen. But it's... when you look at it that way, you say, well, what they would have to move some other pieces. And then we start seeing other pieces move, and you think, oh, okay. Well, this could be really interesting, because now, where Boston, the NBA doesn't like Boston. They just don't like them for whatever reason.
Green.
Maybe, but...
you're in a green jumper.
Yeah, well, sort of.
So as a Mavs fan, are you happy?
No, I'm furious. I was really, really grumpy on Sunday. I was really, really grumpy. I just it's really disappointing.
There's only one thing can sort that out. But Mark,
do you know? Someone said that. What happens if they win the championship? Will that make everything all right?
Yeah.
No.
What?
No.
Oh, you think the loyalty is more than a championship?
So across, like, even just like a few of the social medias, they lost something like 18% of their followers in one hit just by Luka moving.
Oh.
That's massive. It's like, yeah, it's huge. It's almost like 1 million just on Instagram, just gone like that, just because he's been moved. And then the Lakers went up.
I would say.
But it's not just about that. It's about the fact that the people were invested in the team. And I was literally like, do I follow them at this point? Because I followed them based on
all those
I liked
factors.
What was going and all those factors, and I based them on Cuban. When Cuban went, I was like, you know what? He's built something. I'm going to stay with it because he's built something and it's still here.
Can I just say, Mark?
And that's gone.
You have been to Orlando.
Yep.
A lot. You've seen them play.
Mm-mm.
You should just consider it.
There was 3 teams in the mix.
You should consider
Orlando, because they're the team I've seen the most.
There you go.
And Minnesota. And I used to like support and enjoy watching.
Are you thinking of changing your allegiance?
I'm going to say no. Do you know why? Because I think that Seattle will come back, and I think genuinely.
So when
if you
Seattle come back like,
if
in
you
2
said-
years, you're going to go, right, Seattle, I'm back.
Originally, when Seattle came back, with Seattle potentially coming back as it should do, I was thinking I'm going to have a problem here because I'm then going to be 7-8 years of following the Mavs and really getting into that. So I would equally support them. Now it's like
You're going to go to Seattle.
I probably would go to Seattle and
Nice.
say,
And you have been
I'm-
to Seattle, have you?
yes.
So there you go.
But that honestly, we got to say with other people in the trade window, there's some other big ones.
Hang on, can I just say, if the Dallas Mavericks win the championship,
They won't.
if they do,
Won't.
if they do, they've done the right
I'm
thing.
going to let you kick me in the balls on air if they do.
Yes. What if they win the championship? Amazing.
Yep. Dallas won't.
What, with a shoe on?
Yep.
You looked up then like, with a shoe on? Yeah.
I'm getting kicked in the balls. I think like a shoes, like not a steel toe cap. What you're wearing now, that's fine. That is literally. Do you know what? I'm that confident they won't even get past the second round.
But they got
If
to
they-
do it this year. If they don't get to the finals, I think Nico Harrison's got to be going, hang on, I might need to look another job here.
In the table, they're 11th at the moment in the table. They're not even in the. They're joint 8th, but they're not. They're like sitting 11th because of the way they sit.
You know what? I do. You know what?
And they've just got rid of their main scorer, who was doing stats that last season he was the points leader for the NBA last season. The player who played the most minutes in the NBA last season. And the triple doubles, the points, all that, like the stats that Luka's got are frightening. And I love the fact that immediately the second that Luka got traded to the Lakers, they were literally trolling all of those stats on social media. Like, we've got this guy who's 5 times all NBA, this many points on this, blah, blah, blah. The most person in history of behind this person. You're like, yeah, they're celebrating him because they're just like, look what we've just won. We bought a lottery ticket. We just won the prize ham. Like, this is insane.
I've got another conspiracy theory for you, Mark.
Yeah, go for it.
The two GMs or two owners, they're out together on a night out.
No,
Hang on, let me finish.
They're GMs.
GMs or owners,
They're the GMs.
and it's just those two. I'm just saying, it's
Yep.
GMs or the owners.
Yep.
This is the conspiracy theory. They're out having a few beverages.
Mm-hmm.
They get a bit tipsy, and they start joking around, and they go, let's have a laugh, and then it just turns into, and they wake up and go, oh, what have we done?
Mm-hmm. Yep. If someone said that the LA has something on Nico Harrison, they have something over on him, you go, yeah, I could believe that.
Yeah.
Because the second he got into that role, he was trying to move Luka out. And it's only after Luka's gone that people are saying, oh, yeah, he was doing this a couple of years ago. And then he started doing this. And then you go, yeah, you're literally trying to get someone
Let's
out
see
of the
if it
organization.
works out for him.
Wow.
I think they were trying to get Kevin Durant today, and he was like, no.
Yeah.
Or was that Golden State? I think it was both of them.
So KD was, they were trying to get KD at Golden State. And he's like, I'm no interest in that.
Yeah. Can I just
But that's
say
'cause of
one
his
thing
ego.
to finish off Luka?
Yeah.
I really hope he gets over his injury, because don't forget he's been injured a lot this year as well.
Yeah. He's had a couple of bad
I
injuries.
hope he gets over his injury, and I hope he comes back with freaking a vengeance. And when he plays Dallas, he takes it personally and absolute kills them. If they get them in the
every
first
Mavs fan.
round, that's even better.
Every single Mavs fan has said the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, we want you to drop 50. We want you to drop 80. And every time you score a point, just look at Nico.
What was the
Every time you drop
halftime
it.
score? First halftime score without Nico against Cleveland. It was something like 93-40.
Oh, yeah, they got decimated without Luka.
The score didn't end that wide.
No.
But halftime, it was like 93
mad.
points scored against you.
Yeah. Every single point Luka's going to score.
I think
He's
that's
just
the
got-
team going,
He's got to do the Jordan thing where he runs past and just runs past. Just making the eye contact like. that one's for you.
If I was Luka,
Because he literally can't give him the bird.
I'd be shooting and it going in, and I'd be literally, a bit like what what's he called? Reggie Miller did to Spike Lee. When they in New York and Indiana going up, I'd literally be doing. If I was Luka, I'd be doing that on Nico, just like going, "Yeah, this is all about you."
Yeah.
But Can I say one thing about Reggie Miller?
What?
That I didn't know, and I was so shocked about this. I was listening to
What? That it wasn't a push?
No. I was listening to Steph Curry in an interview, and he was talking about passing Reggie Miller as all-time three-point shooter. And the person asking the question made a statement, and Steph Curry was like, "What?" So this is the fact. A few years ago, I think 3 years ago, Steph Curry passed by Reggie Miller.
Yeah.
Where's Reggie Miller now on that all-time list?
8th.
No. Not that bad. He's 5th.
Yeah.
James Harden is 900 odd threes away from Steph Curry. Ray Allen, 2009, just 1,000 short. Damian Lillard. Why can't I say that? Lillard.
Who's that?
Lillard.
Who?
Damian Lillard. 2,742. Reggie Miller, 2,560.
Yeah.
Oh, no, hang on. Klay Thompson, 2,613. Maybe there are more.
Yeah.
Let's have a look.
I want to say Reggie's he's in the top 10 still, but...
I was just wow, that's how many threes are going up nowadays.
Yep. I know Harden's definitely up there, and Klay, and obviously Steph, and Dame. Yeah, makes sense.
So, Mark, who else? Jimmy Butler.
I mean, Jimmy Butler's a funny one because I like Jimmy Butler, and if you've ever, I recommend people go and listen to his story because he's an absolute grinder, and he really, it's a great, it is how he got into the NBA and not giving up. He's got a really good attitude in that sense. But there's a reason Jimmy's gone between different teams, and I think he's got a very strong character. And when he falls out of love of something, I think he can be a bit of a poison pill.
Yeah.
And that's what's happened in Miami. And his mistake was being a little bit too chatty. And the fact that Pat Riley got up on the mic and was like, "Yeah, people who aren't playing need to keep their mouth shut." You don't piss off Pat Riley.
You don't mess with Pat Riley.
Don't mess with Pat Riley. Like, you're done, Jimmy. The second that he's saying that and everyone knows he's talking about you, you're done.
Do you know the supposed story with LeBron and Pat Riley, where it goes up into the office?
No.
So this is all allegedly that there is a handful, like 2 or 3 players from Miami Heat, go up into the offices, go to Pat Riley and go and say, "You need to get," I can't say his name, but at the time, Spoish, how do you say his name? Spoisha? How do you say his surname, the coach name?
Eric Spoeler.
Did you even say that right? You know who I'm talking about.
Spolester, isn't it? Or something like that?
Him.
Yeah.
They went, "We don't like him, you got to get rid of him."
Yeah, they did, yeah.
Pat Riley goes, "Get down on the court. I'll be down in a bit."
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, "Okay, cool." He then goes down on the court, lines up the entire squad, and basically says, "I'm paying you to work and play basketball on this court. I'm not paying you to come up here and complain about anything to me, about management or what trade you want. Shut up." Bam.
Bang.
Don't mess with Pat Riley.
Now that is the NBA that this is going back to, thanks to all of this trade stuff.
Yeah.
Now, I obviously hate the fact Luka is part of this reason, but the fact is, the only thing the NBA fans weirdly have to thank Nico Harrison for is for being that much of a douche that he genuinely thinks trading Luka is a good idea, because now every single player is suddenly like, "Oh, I'm not untradeable. Oh, I'm not do you know Joel Embiid has been off with injury? Like, no, he's not. He's resting. Yeah. Oh, he's playing tonight. It's amazing, that, isn't it? All of a sudden, they're like, Paul George and Joel Embiid are now suddenly fit to play against the Phillies. Like, hang on a minute, they were signed off on the team sheet. No, Luka got traded. They're all like, yeah. No, we're good, coach. Yeah, we're fine.
Yeah.
Don't trade us. Everyone is now like coming off the sick benches. Everyone else is suddenly feeling better.
Mark, this isn't just the NBA. This has sent a message, like I said to you earlier, this has sent a message to the entire world.
Every sports.
Even me and you, Mark.
Yep.
When you're sat in your offices, wherever you are, just remember, if Luka can get traded from the Dallas Mavericks to the Lakers, you can easily be replaced in your office.
You are replaceable. You are 100% replaceable.
Yeah.
So we've had...
So Jimmy Butler going to Golden State Warriors.
Yeah, which I... Right. Jimmy Butler...
For Wiggins? I'm not sure about that.
Wow, yeah. So what's funny... So not funny, but Steve Kerr actually says in his speech, like, in 2022, we won because we had Wiggins. He said we wouldn't have had that trophy without him. And I think that's a really nice thing for a coach that, clearly he's like, I didn't want that to happen. They say, oh, we're going to go back to the one thing on the Luka. If you haven't watched it, watch the Nico Harrison and Jason Kidd. Watch that. It's like
Jason Kidd's sitting there like,
he's sitting there
what
the
has
whole
just
time,
happened?
like you want him to almost turn around and just throw a punch. You can just see him sat there like, I don't, and then he has to say these things like, yeah, I'm supportive of this, and you sit there and think, this is a guy who's either got a gun to his head,
nah, Mark,
or like he's...
Pay attention to the language that Nico Harrison's using as well. He's saying we had to get this done. This was a quick thing, and like I had to just do this kind of, and he's basically saying I'm doing this on my own. But then later he's like, yeah, we agreed. This is right. And you think, well, hang on, did you do it or did you both agree on it? Yeah,
no, Jason Kidd did.
He had nothing. He's sitting there going, what?
Why have you traded him, you
And
dick?
I think I really like that Mark Cuban, I think Luka reached out to him and Mark Cuban was like, I don't know what's going on.
No, someone texted Mark Cuban, one of the ex-players, and they're like, what's going on with this? And he replied back, I'm confused. Like, I'm confused as everyone else. Like, I have no idea what the hell's going on there. Because everyone thought it was a joke. That's how big it is. It's just unbelievable. It's up there with news, like when people said, some famous sports star is retiring. That's how big a thing it was. Just all around the world. It's weird. All around the world, people who don't follow basketball and stuff know about this because of how it impacted the fan base, and because it was that much of a shock that you literally say, "Oh, they've just changed the president." It was bigger deal than some of these horrible conflicts and stuff around the way. It's really bizarre.
But like you said, great for the NBA.
Because Dallas is its own market team. It's not a giant team outside of Dallas. Like Orlando, like other places,
Orlando is huge outside Orlando.
Orlando is big because it's a destination, but not many people say go to Dallas for holiday, for example. So there's lots of places like Atlanta, like those places where they've got really, really... Indiana's another big one.
In Dallas, we have the Cowboys.
Yeah, no one's watching them either. But honestly, that's how big a shocker it is when you look at it and you go...
That was my Dallas accent.
So... Kevin Durant was giving a lecture to people about...
Lecture?
Yep. He was giving a lecture to people about teams are expecting us to be loyal, but then they don't show loyalty to us or fans either. Kevin Durant, the man who left the OKC, he left them because he wanted to get the paycheck and get a couple of rings at Golden State. Then left Golden State because he wanted to go get the paycheck at the Nets. Then threw his handbag out and said, no, I want a bigger paycheck, and went to Phoenix. This is the man who's giving the media a lecture about people being loyal. And you go, I don't really think you're the one to have this go. Which brings me to my final comment.
Can I just say, I love the fact that when Kevin Durant went to Golden State Warriors after losing to Golden State Warriors and then winning the title, I loved all the memes that were out there where it was like the women's US volleyball team has just won gold. Kevin Durant is interested in joining. Remember all those memes?
Yep.
Whoever won, Kevin Durant was going to.
So, Dennis Schroeder.
Yeah, I liked him.
Do you know?
Are you sad?
No. Do you know why I don't like Dennis Schroeder?
Why? I quite liked him.
Dennis
Got 2 rings.
Dennis believed his hype.
Has he got 2 rings?
I'm not sure. I thought he had 1.
Milwaukee.
Dennis Schroeder. But you might be thinking Chris Middleton, who got traded from.
I don't know.
But Dennis Schroeder, German player, obviously won the World Cup.
German player.
Yeah.
Du
Now,
hast mich.
what's funny is that Dennis, 2 days before like the Luka trade thing and everything and all that sort of happening, he made a comment saying that the draft, the trade window and everything is equivalent of modern slavery. And you go,
Yeah.
Dennis, you're getting paid millions to do a sport that you love to do. And your complaint is that they can send you wherever they want.
I can sympathise a little bit with. I know what he's trying to say.
We all know what he's trying to say. He's just basically saying, I signed up for this lifestyle and now I don't want to move around as much. You go, look, I get that. Who doesn't want to get a team, pick with a team and stay with a team?
But it's away games. Don't forget away games. You're always on the road and like that. So a lot of it is you're living in a hotel, isn't it?
Dennis is still bitter because he was offered an £80 million contract for 4 years with the Lakers and he turned it down because he thought he was worth more. Now he's been bounced around 8 teams in 5 years because in the last 24 hours, he has been traded 4 times. He left from Golden State. So then he went to the Heat, which then changes him to the Jazz, and now on to Detroit Pistons. So,
I wasn't up to that.
so now Dennis has actually...
I only had him to the Heat.
Yep. So Dennis has,
wow.
in fact, there's a brilliant
No
one
one
I'm
wants
trying
him.
to find. Well, who wants
I
someone?
wonder if he's moved. He's on a plane, he lands, and they're like, nah, sorry, mate. You're going to Detroit.
Well, you say that. There's a really funny clip, and I can't find it. I should have. I think I saved it. But basically, they basically said Dennis has completed the rainbow.
Oh, all the colours. Yeah,
And it's
yeah,
all
yeah.
the colours, and he's literally done all the colours of the teams. You're like, oh, dude, really? And he's the one who's getting up there talking about slavery. You go, well, all right, you've got something to back it up now, because in fairness to you, it's like...
No, but
the reason he got passed around is because he started mouthing off, and because he basically was saying, I deserve more than this. So they went, okay, pass. Then after that, it's just got worse from there. I also feel sorry for PJ Washington because he got...
hang on, before you go on,
Yeah.
can I just say that this whole... I know what he's saying. You can have a job, you can have a house, and then bam, they say, right, you got to go to the other side of the country and you lose your family or contact or friends, and you got to move a house, you buy another... I get all that. I understand that. But that's the business.
Yes.
There aren't loads of players who stay with the same club their entire career. That is the business. You're basically working for 20 years and then you're retired.
Which is basically the same as the safest version of going into the armed forces. You go where you're going to do.
Yeah.
You signed up to a job. There's a finite period of time. You can't play in the NBA when you're 44. You can't. It's not going to happen. So you've got this window from when you get into it to make either as much as you can, win some rings. You're going to make loads of money. Nowadays, the money they're talking about is crazy money.
But
if you're moving around a bit during that thing, yeah, it's going to be rough. But do you know what? If you're 20, if someone says, "Oh, you're 26 and you're only earning 10 million a year," but you're getting a bit annoyed because you have to keep jumping on planes, well, think of all the salespeople that have to go all around Europe or fly around all over the place.
I was going to say,
traveling people,
he earns
technicians,
in a
nurses
month
who do
what
shifts.
everyone else earns in years.
Yep.
So I think that's why we can't really
People who work night
sympathise,
shifts who
but,
can't see their kids because they're doing security details or working bus routes.
But that's why
It's like,
us normal folk can't appreciate what he's saying. Going, yeah, we feel really sorry for you, millionaire. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Oh, poor you. Well, that's why we're a bit like, whatever.
all I know is I travelled a lot in my last jobs, and
It takes its toll.
it's not fun at all. So I understand that. But if someone's paying you 10 million plus a year and you're in your 20s and you don't have a family and all that stuff, suck it up.
Deal with it.
And stop being bitter. And the fact that you keep getting passed around just shows how bitter, you know.
Pain sucks.
Yeah.
Chicks dig scars. Glory lasts forever.
Always. So I'm going to give
there's one more bit of that quote that you've not said. He actually says at the end, it's worse than the WNBA as well. And Angel Reese chips in with her things lately. And she's like, we're so underpaid. She spends $8,000 a month on rent for her house, which is more than a WNBA contract.
There's a real problem when people say, and me.
Living in between your means, I think is the saying.
Yeah. There's a real problem when people have that tag themselves onto someone else's problem, because your journey's not my journey, which isn't their journey, isn't your journey. Like, it's very difficult to relate on that stuff, especially when everyone's got a camera phone these days. And when you're playing in 3-on-3 tournaments, Angel, and it's the off season, and you're running in and throwing up bricks or missing layups or, you know, looking like a school team, and then you're saying we should be paid more, you're like, really?
Angel Reese slammed.
It's true. And that's the problem, is that there's nowadays, if you said this 20 years ago, not everyone has a camera that every time someone touches a ball, they've got to perform. And you go, that's the reality, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
It is. So I'm going to give one shout out to our good friend PJ Tucker.
PJ Tucker, a legend.
Because the Clippers said, you're not playing in our rota. We're going to, as soon as the trade window comes around, you're getting traded. So he knew he's getting traded, right? He got traded to the Jazz from Bamba. And then they went, actually, we're going to trade you to the Heat. And you're like, okay, that's fine. But then the Heat went, actually, we're going to trade you to Toronto. So he's like, what?
So a similar thing.
Yeah, but they're like a few days apart. So can you imagine that? Like, mate, you've been traded this. He's like, okay, right, fair enough. But he knew he was getting traded. That's fine.
Do you know what?
Actually, you've just got traded there. It'd be like, the next day, you'd be like,
at the very least, I would want my jersey. At the very least, I'd be like,
you haven't played for them yet. No, you can't play for them yet.
Look, I got a freaking contract. If you give me my jersey, I'd be taking my jersey and going, look, even if it was for 4 hours, I was a Utah Jazz player. Give me my bloody jersey.
Well, there's 5 days between it. So he dealt to Utah, then it was like 4 days, and then he was dealt again, and then he was dealt at the last minute for the next day. But it's funny when you go, all right, love, yeah, what you got? No, I'm getting traded, but
do you buy that house? Did you buy that house that you saw? Yeah.
Yeah. But no,
with cash?
No,
yeah.
It's even better than that. You go, love, I know we're going to get traded because they'd already said, look, you're not with the team. You're going to do that, love. Right. Love, we got traded. We were in LA for the Clippers.
We're off to Miami, love.
No, we're off to Utah.
Oh.
So we're off to Utah, and you're like, oh, really? He's like, look, I haven't got any control over that. We're off to Utah. He's going to get beaten up for that a little bit because no one wants to go to Utah, right? And then it's like, no, but it gets better.
Utah Jazz, slam.
They suck.
Wow.
Salt Lake City, no one wants to go there.
Wow.
Right. So then he goes, like 4 days later, love, good news. We've been traded to Miami. She's like,
bro, we're going on that
we'll get on board with that.
The word for our American listeners, love is an endearing term you call your other half.
Absolutely.
Your partner.
And then you say, oh, you go to Miami.
Darling might be another
I'm going to get
one.
all these really nice. So she goes out. I'm going to go out and we're going to get some like new wardrobes. We're going to get some really nice clothes for the hot Miami weather and stuff. And it's like, sorry, we just got traded again to Toronto.
Did you buy all those bikinis?
And the cotton suits.
Keep them for the hot tub.
Yeah. Like you now need to go out and get a coat and like fur boots.
Do this online course so you know how to deal with grizzly bears.
Yeah. Are you allowed to go to Canada? You need a visa. Right. Okay. But it's just brilliant. I mean, we're glossing over people like Fox, for example, who got traded. I mean, that was huge.
Lakers just got a big man. Who was that? Mark Williams.
Yeah.
Who's actually got a higher reach than
2 inches longer than Wemby, isn't he, his reach? So, but that's weird because
Dwight Howard's like, Lakers, sign me.
Yeah. No, I don't get it. He keeps putting on the socials they're like, I'm going to keep posting videos and maybe they'll pick you
Yeah,
up.
you weren't that
And he's
good when you
doing
played for
He's
him.
doing all these weird dances and really weird stuff. You go, why don't you show him a picture of you still dunking it or doing some cool stuff?
Yeah.
Like not doing a weird dance. No one wants you for that. You're not there to dance.
My understanding is that they've seen him play and they're just like,
Yeah. He's not fitting the role. He's not fitting what they want. But they have had some massive moves. The other big one that we haven't really mentioned is obviously we're talking about PJ Tucker and everything going off. But with Milwaukee, I don't know if you know this, with Milwaukee, Chris Middleton left. And they sent him from Milwaukee to Washington. Like no one wants to play in Washington. That's like the arse end of
capital.
nowhere. It's nowhere. No one.
What?
No,
What are you talking about?
whoever, like the only decent player to ever play there, you got like 3 names,
Jordan.
and Jordan was one of
Michael
them, and he owned
Hey
the
on,
team.
what about, would you, the Washington Wizards, or would
Yes.
you go back to the Washington Bullets? I like the Bullets.
The Bullets is a great name, but I think given the unfortunate gun crimes that are going on, in the
is that why
States,
they start?
Yeah,
Oh. That's
it
a
wasn't
shame.
the same as like the Washington Redskins changed.
I
their
think
name,
they're going
didn't they?
back.
Yeah, to the
Apparently they're going
Commanders,
back.
and yeah, and then
But
so that Butler joining the Wizards. All I'm going to say there is every single person commented betting votes on when Jimmy Butler and a certain well-known fighter on the teams when they're going to have their first punch up.
yeah, that'd be good.
When are they going to have their first punch up?
Okay.
Bearing in mind, he gave Jordan Poole a punch in the own practice. Imagine Jimmy Butler in there. He's just going to be like, "Bap, bap, bap,
Let's
bap,
see.
bap," and he's,
Hopefully they have the cameras out for that.
well, yeah, you can see that. But there's going to be some interesting things. But the main thing with this is with the Washingtons getting rid of people, they also have the rights to a certain Panathinaikos player who, and you go, oh, that's interesting because they were given the rights. What you don't see on the trade tracker, so what they don't highlight when they're talking about them, which you need to see on the trackers, is all of the free picks and the first round picks and the trade people and all the stuff that you're attached to, right?
This is like a therapy session for
listen
you,
to this.
isn't it?
No, listen to this. Okay. Whose brother plays for Panathinaikos? Who plays for Milwaukee and has basketball brothers?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
His brother plays for Panathinaikos.
Yeah.
He just was released a day or 2 ago.
Oh. Where's he going?
It's very interesting. Bearing in mind that Thanasis plays.
Thanasis is a huge part of the Bucks setup
Yeah. Now, based on that.
emotionally.
Yeah, emotionally. He's like the number one cheerleader. But like, you got to have people who are like that as well.
Especially if you look at something like sports like baseball and stuff like that. It's huge. They might keep a player on just because he's good in the locker room.
But his younger brother is a better ball player. And he's literally just been released from Panathinaikos. And you look at it and go, well, that's kind
He's
of
only going to
interesting.
one team.
If he wanted to make his step into the NBA, that's the way he'd go. So there's been some other people moving around. You know, De'Aaron Fox, that was a massive one. He's now joined back up again. He's down in the Spurs, so it's him, Chris Paul, and Wemby. That's going to be interesting. And the other big one was Zach LaVine.
Where's he gone?
He went to Sacramento.
Oh.
Yeah, so he's kind of in instead of De'Aaron
Yeah.
Fox in a way. Yeah, like no, I mean, go ask Chris Webber what Sacramento do. Not a lot.
Wow.
So, well, it's true.
Sacramento Kings slammed by Chester.
Yeah, they're just not going to do anything. But they have arguably the best celebration for a win. So that's even better than Orlando's,
Can I round this up?
which is that torch, isn't it? That
Oh
big-
yeah.
the
The big light.
Light the beam.
Light
if they win
that
it,
beam.
that is arguably the best.
But can I just you hit on something, and I remember taking a picture of this because I was thinking, hang on, this is really key here.
Yes.
You were talking about all these trades.
Yeah.
The most important potential thing that's happened out of all of this would be who's getting first round picks
Yeah.
this season, because Cooper Flagg,
Yep.
currently leading Duke basketball in
Yep.
points, rebounds, assists, steals, blocks, as well as minutes.
He's a monster.
And some of the bloody plays I'm seeing, it's like, holy crap.
Right now, I'd take him over Wemby any day because he's much more
He is
offensive.
He is absolutely bananas. So
I want to see.
Is there something at play with all these? I don't know. I didn't even look at first
honestly
draft.
But there was one.
First
There
round.
was two.
He's
sections.
going number one.
There was two
He's going number
sections where, because Phoenix, I think, have got loads and loads and loads of ones to give out, if I remember rightly. And people were just giving them away. Like, oh, we'll swap these 3 for your 1 second round in 2 years' time, and then your 2. And they were doing all. There was all this going on as well. So the people who track all the stats must have been having an absolute field day, because this, sometimes you get a trade window, 1 or 2 things happen, and that's kind of it. But where you're seeing some really big moves, arguably by, people like Steph. If Steph's not in trade windows now, he's retiring there. LeBron, he's probably retiring at the Lakers, most likely. Durant, is he probably going to stay at Phoenix? Probably. Like, all of these are all...
Online, everyone's saying Cooper Flagg's number one, guaranteed.
Yeah, you would be, of course you would. So it's whoever gets there. And is that going to be a race to the bottom now?
Wizards, Jazz,
Yeah.
Pelicans,
Yeah.
Nets, Hornets, Blazers.
If you want anyone to get them there, you want Hornets to get it. You don't want the Blazers to get him, because
But
that's
see what I mean?
a terrible market.
You can try and trade for that first round pick, and you get it. Boom.
Oh, people will be wanting him as a player. But then, do you build around someone like that, or do you have someone like that you add into your team?
Oh, mate.
'Cause that's one
he's
of the-
nuts.
but that's
You
one of
watch
the
it, he's
things-
Nuts.
Yeah, but
you look at him, go, okay, and then he just pure power, aggression inside. Oh man, he's nuts.
Okay, one person who's not been talked about that much this season, as much as they should, and I feel they should, is SGA. So this Wednesday,
Who?
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
Okay.
I always get his name wrong. But as the guard, or whatever you want to call it these days, position 1, he got a 50-point game this Wednesday. He got a 50-point game last Wednesday. And the Wednesday before that, he got another 50-point game. Like, that's your MVP. That's your MVP right there. He's leading his team. They have now just said that they're getting the main. Totally forgot his name now. It was Wemby and him. It's just gone from my head. The really tall guy on Oklahoma. What's his name? I don't want to look it up. It's going to come to me. But he's basically coming off the injury list, and that's been a big problem for them because he was so dominant last season. Arguably more dominant, I would feel, than Wemby. I was quite surprised, but just the way he played and got into the game. But those guys, I don't think, but you got between them and the Celtics this year for who's going to win it, because they've got the most all-rounded teams. I mean, Lakers
Mark,
is
do you
really
know what my
interesting
prediction is to win the NBA championship this year?
this year.
Dallas Mavericks.
No. Do you know what I'm going to say? If they get into the playoffs, that's an if. I think they might go out straight round, first round.
And then a few people will be going out that door, won't they?
Yeah, I mean, look,
You're not allowed to bet in Dallas, but
I don't know.
a few people have been putting some big bets
Lakers,
on their with their
Lakers
careers.
are 4th and 5th. Yeah, wow. The people who've put the bets on bidding off Luka, I think. All I will say is this to them: every single Mavs fan wants Luka to come back and beat the Mavs. And the fact that the Mavs are so important to the people of Dallas and they love the team, but they want to see Luka win. You go, that's the person that you
It
turned.
shows you the bond they had with the player.
That's who you turned away.
Yeah.
That they would rather have a loss
However,
than see him win. And
the Mavs win. The Mavs. Let's say the Mavs go and win a championship
they
now.
are not beating Lakers.
You are going to get a kick in the bollocks.
Yeah, I will, and I'm stand by that. But
Why don't you
it won't
just
happen.
eat your hat instead?
No, won't happen.
Right.
But
Should we wrap this up?
yes, all I'll say is, although they're going to do that, although they're going to come in hard, you're going to see Luka play like a monster.
Who's
They are going to come in hard, Paul.
where?
Extremely
Who's
hard.
coming in hard?
the Lakers when they come to Dallas. All I'll say is this.
Why are you saying it like that?
Because I know I can
Why
say it
are you
with a straight
saying
face,
it like
'cause
that?
You can't resist, can
Oh,
you?
God.
I'm supposed to be the bad one. But all I will say is if
They're going to stick it to him.
If they're going to hammer them. They're going to pound them, Paul.
Oh, they're coming in hard. They're going to stick it to him and pound him.
Exactly.
Good.
And their mouths will be left dry. They will, honestly, if all the reason that they've given is that Nico's reason was Luka and his conditioning was my concern, right?
Mm.
You just sent him to play alongside the guy who spends over $1 million a year on his personal fitness and well-being.
Yeah, see what happens.
And will, if he drums that into Luka, and imagine if Luka, who is only 25, and obviously has plenty of time to get his fitness in shape, imagine if he does do that. Congratulations, you literally just handed the Lakers a weapon, and they will just dominate the league for the next. I mean, Boston are probably going to be big rivals for the next 2-3 years, given their team, and they're so consistent. So the LA is going to be their opposite.
See what happens.
Exactly, and that's exactly what you're saying.
See what happens.
Who wins at the end of all of this?
NBA. NBA are a big winner here.
Maybe they'll sort.
Everyone's talking about it.
Maybe they'll sort their ratings out. Who knows?
So, Mark, last question. Has this been a good therapy session for you as a Dallas Maverick fan?
No, I'm still pissed off. I almost didn't wear this top. I've actually put I can say this happily.
Do you want me to get an Orlando top for you?
I'm looking at my Dallas my hat over there, and it's actually making me a bit angry at the moment.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm really not happy.
Why don't you put your Adelaide 36ers hat on? Where's that?
Oh, it's at home. I'll put that on instead.
There you go.
There we go.
You can be an Adelaide. Well, you are an Adelaide fan, aren't you?
Yeah.
Right. Are we going to shoot off?
We're going to shoot off. So, Nico, you can kiss my ass. Thank you very much for listening. I've been Mark.
I have been Paul, and this is for the NBA for organising that trade.
Well done, Adam Silver.
Your ratings are going up.
Well done, Skeletor. You did well.
Adam Silver.
Adam Skeletor.